Hi, friends. Today we're going to take a moment to think together about sacred pause, the fourth stage in the sacred organizing cycle. One of the primary messages of the culture around us is that if we act just right, if we strive enough, if we keep going enough, then we will get the things that we want. Whether your goal is to build a business or raise a family or to work for justice, we're told by the world around us, just keep going, don't stop, go, go, go. But in the face of this story, this is a story in the heart of the white supremacy culture that we're surrounded by. In the face of this story, we remember the ancient tradition of Sabbath. In the Hebrew creation story, God does the work of creation through words and breath, and then rests. God rests and blesses this seventh day. Throughout Israelite history, this Sabbath tradition was honored and developed. The seventh year was a Sabbath year for cultivated land to be left fallow to rest. The 49th year or the 50th year was the Jubilee year. Importantly, this pattern from our spiritual ancestors also resonates with creation itself. The year passes in seasons. Some are for planting, some are for harvest, some are for rest. Winter is the sacred pause for the trees in my garden, when their energy is sent down to the roots. Our bodies, too, are part of creation, and they share this relationship between activity and rest and growth. Consider how your muscles grow. It's not when you're in the gym lifting weights, working hard, putting in your action. It's when you're resting afterwards that your muscles recover and repair and grow. Sacred pause, then, is the Sabbath of the sacred organizing cycle. And in this stage, we set aside our actions for a while. We sit down together to remember who we are, where we are, and to reflect on our journey. When we pause as part of the organizing cycle, we're invited to 3 levels of reflection. The first is we connect with our own bodies, with our breath, with our emotion. This is personal work that's about joining with the Ruach, the Spirit, through our breath, God's first gift and our first prayer. This enables us to remember that our identity isn't first in our actions or our outcomes. You are loved, and you're here. That's enough. The second level is we pause to take note and reflect on our own experience of the shared work of sacred organizing, how we're changing, what we're learning, what we need, what we have to offer others. This is about finding our personal vocation, our identity, our story in the midst of the shared story of our community. We're spiritually formed through our action in community. How are you being formed by the sacred organizing work in your community? It's often in this pause that we may see the workings of the Spirit, where we may not have seen it at the time. It's also in this pause that we deepen our resilience, and we practice anti-racism by reflecting humbly and deeply on where racism and whiteness are showing up in our context. In this work, the work of sacred organizing, we're working to transform the world. But in sacred pause, we open ourselves to that transformation. And finally, at the third level, we pause together to consider our shared journey. We consider how far we've come, why we're on the journey. We remind ourselves where we're going, and we make sense of the moment that we're at on the journey we're on. So in this pause, we make space for Spirit to be present beyond our own plans and our own control. We practice sacred pause then at different moments in the sacred organizing spiral. Generally, we practice pause when we gather, to ground ourselves in our identity and purpose and to make space for spirit. We practice sacred pause after we act to reflect on what's just happened, what it might mean. And we practice sacred pause in our personal lives to ground our vocation in contemplative practices that sustain and transform our external work. So you can see some suggestions for how we might practice pause in each of these moments in the worksheet that's connected to this video. So I offer you this encouragement today. When you feel the voice of our society telling you to just keep moving, to do more, to earn your value by what you accomplish, I invite you to return to the wisdom of Sabbath. Take some time for sacred pause. Return to the good work that you're doing from an engaged place of peace.